Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. This is United Daily Live, the place where you get all your latest Manchester United news and headlines. And today we are looking at the future of Jadon Sancho. Yes, we're trying to get over the Chelsea defeat in the FA Cup semi-final and look towards more positive things. Obviously, Manchester United still have Champions League football to play for in terms of the campaign domestically. And then we have the Europa League competition at the end of the season. But in amongst all of that is going to be the transfer dealings for the next campaign, which starts in the middle of September. So it's a very quick turnover from the end of this season and the beginning of next season. It's probably about 2 weeks in terms of if you get to the Europa League final, how long you've got to prepare for the new campaign. So with that being said, you can expect transfer dealings to start heating up very, very soon. You know, when the domestic campaign finishes at the end of this week, I think we'll start to see English clubs making bids and making moves and trying to sign their players. Now we know that the coronavirus pandemic is going to have an impact on the amount of money clubs have made and therefore the amount of money clubs can spend. But Manchester United are still expected to be busy in the transfer market. And one of those players we are expected to be signing or have rumoured to be signing for a long time is of course Jadon Sancho. Now Jadon Sancho, obviously at Dortmund at the minute, their campaign is finished. They recently announced the signing of Jude Bellingham. He too was linked with a move to Manchester United for a long time. We saw his parents and things like that at the Carrington training complex to meet up with Manchester United for discussions. Now he's made that move to Borussia Dortmund, and interestingly, these two things could be linked. Jadon Sancho's departure and United stepping out of the way, perhaps, in terms of letting Borussia Dortmund sign Jude Bellingham. But the news coming out in relation to Jadon Sancho today in Germany is that he is homesick at the moment and he wants to leave Borussia Dortmund and he's pushing for that move. Now they say at this moment in time, you know, he hasn't given in a transfer request like Ousmane Dembele did, but that could be coming very, very soon. They kind of hint at that. But he is now seemingly beginning to push for this move. He's obviously away on holiday at the moment. So he's no longer with the club in terms of training and things like that. And he's on his holidays ahead of a new campaign. But he's still going to be looking at potentially getting that move done. Seeing that there's maybe a few little issues. Anyway, hopefully that sorts itself out. Apologies if you've been experiencing a few little issues. Not sure what it is. Not a lot I can do. YouTube's been tripping on me lately, to be totally honest with you. Yesterday, we did my review outside of Wembley. After the game, we did it live to 1,500 people. And then, when I finished the record of 12-13 minutes, for some reason it didn't end the stream. Well, I'm looking at this now and it looks fine to me now. So I'm not sure. But nevertheless, the reports coming in from Germany in relation to Jadon Sancho are this. So let's get... Jadon Sancho definitely wants to leave Borussia Dortmund this summer. He is homesick and doesn't want to stay in Germany anymore. It is difficult to say if he will ask to leave like Ousmane Dembele did, but the pressure on Dortmund would be greatly increased. And Mohamed Bouhafsi, who is a big reporter, has also confirmed that that is the case. And Jadon Sancho is pushing for a move out of Borussia Dortmund. Now they don't, you know, explicitly say that he's saying he wants to leave for Man United. But at this moment in time, United are probably the only ones that are in a position to make his signature, you know, theirs. You look at other clubs that are potentially interested in him now. Kai Havertz going to Chelsea. I think that's pretty much been confirmed today, that personal terms have been agreed there. Chelsea were one of those clubs that were potentially interested in Jadon Sancho, and it looks like they withdrew their interest in his services and targeted the likes of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. Still fantastic signings, but you don't really see Real Madrid, Juventus, Barcelona possibly being in for him. Bayern Munich, he's not going to be staying in Germany if he's homesick, is he? So you think of all that hints at him coming back to England. And if he's coming back to England, I think United are the only ones that make that move happen. We can afford his wages. We're crying out for a right winger. We've got a number 7 shirt that's free for him. And I think it's the perfect spot for him to play football. And I think what the last few weeks has shown, Southampton, Norwich in the Cup, Chelsea in the FA Cup, what that's shown is that we need more. We need more. Yes, Bruno and Pogba in midfield with Greenwood and Rashford and Marshall is great, but we need more. There's no point getting complacent and just relying on that. We need an out-and-out right winger. Jadon Sancho is just that. We need an out-and-out right. He's that perfect right winger for us. And now obviously in an ideal world you look around and you have loads of options, but I think this is one of those very rare occasions when it just screams out to you that this is a Man United signing. This has to be a Man United signing, and thankfully it looks like we're now potentially seeing some movement in terms of Jadon Sancho making a push for that move to happen, and hopefully it does very, very soon. We'll also be looking at the Jude Bellingham stuff. Now, there was an interesting quote from James Cooper for Sky Sports, who said, this is what James Cooper said on Sky. While no one at Manchester United has said it explicitly, do not rule out Jude Bellingham ending up in Germany as part of a process that sees Sancho move to Old Trafford. Now, Manchester United were believed to be in for Jude Bellingham, to be in the bidding for him. Now, the transfer fee that you hear being touted about for Jude Bellingham to Borussia Dortmund is around 18-20 million. An incredibly low figure, really, when you think about it. For such a good young player, and that's a massively low fee. Now, United were believed to be interested in him, but it may have been the case that United backed out of the bidding and said, look, Dortmund, if we bid an extra 10 million, you're going to have to pay for more for Bellingham, or you're not going to get him. So if we back out of this not bidding for him, that means you've got a smooth road to the signing, and it'll be cheaper because you haven't got that competition there for his signature. So there could have been that kind of gentleman's agreement from United to just step back from Jude Bellingham, allow Dortmund to make that signing so that they get a little bit more favourable treatment in the dealings for Jadon Sancho. Irfan says, out of 10, Adam, what do you give this story of Sancho coming? In terms of Jadon Sancho to Manchester United, I've always been pretty consistent with this one on the transfer rumour rater and things like that. And remember, when these games aren't as thick and fast as they're coming at the moment, we will have the regular schedule returning on AdamMcKola TV. But on rumour rater, I've always rated this one at a 9 out of 10. Yes, there's a possibility that he goes elsewhere, but I think that's a very minute possibility. There's also the possibility that he stays at Dortmund. Again, I don't think that's likely. So I think he's going to be our player. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Are Dortmund becoming United's feeder club, says Juteru? I don't think so. They're one of these teams that constantly buy players, young players, and look to resell them and make massive profits. You look at what they did with Ousmane Dembele, what they'll do with Jadon Sancho, what they'll do with Erling Haaland. I think that's their business model, and they make a lot of money doing that. So I think that's just something that will happen. Dortmund wouldn't accept 50 million. I don't think the deal is going to be anywhere near 50 million. I think United will minimum be giving up 80, 90 million and then potentially add-ons. I can't see it being such a low figure as 50 million. But that would just be United, if that was true, playing hardball and just saying, you know, whilst they're saying 120 million or whatever, United are saying, all right, we'll set our stall out at 50 million. We know there's nobody else in for him. That could be what United are trying to do in that instant there. They've been kind of having their bidding by media, haven't they? In terms of, you know, United saying or briefing one thing, Dortmund through their manager or their, you know, their directors and things like that saying another thing. They've been having their bidding in the media almost. Miles, thank you for the super chat. Says, if we get Sancho, does that give us enough depth to rest Bruno? I could see Jadon Marcus playing in that role with Mason wide. That's a possibility. But I do think Jadon Sancho kind of coming in makes us be able to rotate more in that front three. That's what I think that does. I think in terms of Bruno Fernandes, I think bringing in someone like, you know, we had Kai Havertz link, that's not happening. I never thought that was happening, by the way. Someone like Jack Grealish, someone like James Maddison, someone like that. I think we need to sign one of those players in that plays in the midfield area so that you can rest Bruno Fernandes, or you've got an alternative, you know, someone off the bench, rotating, all that. Because once you're in the Champions League and you're playing 2-3 games a week like we have been doing recently, and it's a bit weird now because they haven't had a pre-season, so you're kind of judging their fitness a little bit incorrectly, but we need to be making sure we get a right winger, because we haven't got a first choice right winger. Mason Greenwood isn't a right winger. He can play there. I believe Mason Greenwood can play as a left forward, a right forward, through the middle, wherever, but he's not an out and out right winger, and we still want to take it easy with his development. So Jadon Sancho would be the right winger, Martial would be the 9, Rashford would be on the left. You know, Mason Greenwood can come in for either of them. Bruno Fernandes, Pogba, you know, that's probably going to be a midfield with potentially Matic or whoever. You need someone else. If you've got McTominay and Fred as your depth, you need someone else in there. Because once you take Pogba and or Bruno out, you lose your creativity so bad. And I think even if you get Sancho, you're going to have that problem, because you're then going to have a Sancho in the team, but you're going to have very little creativity when you rest those players. Ross says, add Jack Grealish along with Sancho, and that way you can take Bruno, Pogba or even Rashford off, and Grealish can be the perfect replacement. Yeah, it won't always be on the bench. Sometimes he'll be starting, sometimes he'll be on the bench. And, you know, if you've got 60, 70 games a season, which you want to, you know, 38 in the league, start off with 6 in the Champions League, and then it 2, 4, probably about another 8, 14. You add the domestic cup competitions in there. You're looking at potentially, if you do well in the cup, 65 games, 70 games or whatever it is. And you need to have a squad that can rotate, and a squad that you've got the depth to cover for injuries or cover for suspensions or cover for players that are needing rest. Hamid says, when do you think this deal will be done if we do it? I do think it will drag on a little bit longer. You're going to see United and Dortmund, because it's pretty much a one-team bid for Jadon Sancho. I think you're going to see United and Dortmund just bidding via the media first, and then United will probably go in with a bid. And when United go in with a bid, I think it'll move very quickly. But I don't think we'll see that for a long time. I think Jadon Sancho is going to work on Dortmund. May end with a... who knows, this could be a ploy. So, you know, Jadon Sancho's done this. Then United make a bid. That bid gets rejected. Jadon Sancho then hands in a transfer request. Dortmund then start negotiating with United. Another couple... So let's say United made a bid after this in a week's time, once the domestic campaign's finished. That bid's rejected. a week later, after we hear loads in the Twitter and the press, Jadon Sancho hands in a transfer request. And then, within a couple of days, United and Dortmund start negotiating, and then the deal will be done. I wouldn't be surprised if it took about another month. Another month or something like that. Michael says a director of football needed badly. I don't think you need one under this managerial regime. I think under maybe Jose Mourinho, possibly. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seems to keep it within, between him and the scouting department. And, I agree that we shouldn't be having Woodward and Judge be doing these things, but it looks like that's how they're doing it at the moment. I can't see a director of football coming in. And I don't think it's something we need very badly at the moment when you look at the deals that we have been doing. Under Ollie anyway. Daniel says, what position other than right wing do you feel we need to strengthen the most? I think we definitely need a DM, but I don't think that's happening this summer. So I think we're going to get a midfielder, maybe a more attack-minded midfielder, because you'll possibly see Mata, Pereira and or Lingard leaving. So I think we'll see a player coming to replace those. I would love to see a holding midfielder come in. I don't think it's going to happen. And centre half, you need to sort that issue out. I'm not quite happy with what we've got going on there at the moment, and I don't think Ollie and the coaching staff will be either. Nick says, providing Alexis leaves next season, who should have the number 7 shirt? Jadon Sancho. I think it's obvious, really. And I think he will be wearing it. Am I counting my chickens? But I do think Jadon Sancho will be wearing it next. Daniel says Ollie cannot. I think that's incorrect. That's one thing he can do. You can maybe criticise tactics at some points. He definitely got that wrong on the weekend, but to criticise him overall for that again would be incorrect, because we've beaten a lot of very good teams with Ollie's tactics. I think coaching's daft. I think every player in the team, bar maybe David De Gea, was improved under him. So yeah, I think that's wild. I'm not saying he's perfect either, but that's wild. Nice one, Amanoyi. Or Amani, sorry. Thank you for tuning in. Bruno number 7. Nah, not for me. Not for me, it's a waste. Giving it there. I think he's happy with 18. Get it to a winger. Jamal Lewis from Norwich says Davy Fisher. Very underrated left back. Paul B says act quick, don't piss around, get deals done, ready for September. What happens if we are joint on points and goal difference after the Leicester game? I think there's a possibility if Chelsea lose their game against Liverpool that and United beat West Ham, that Leicester and United could play out a draw and Chelsea miss out, which would be great. I know 1 loss in 20 matches and everyone goes nuts. Do I agree with Andy that De Gea needs to go? I've been saying stick by him for a long time. I'm less confident when I say that now. I'm less confident when I say it. Still love De Gea, but there's probably coming to a point where a decision needs to be made. I hope he can turn it around, help us get top 4 and win the Europa League or something. But he's cost us an FA Cup final spot, that's for sure. But I don't think the defence in front of him's been great either. Maguire poor, Lindelof poor. So you can't just point the fingers at Dave. Yeah, head-to-head record, says Adam. And we beat him at Old Trafford, didn't we? I think we did. What's going on, Manny? Who do you think will leave in the summer? Nice one for the comment. Thanks for getting involved again. I see Phil Jones, Juan Mata, Jesse Lingard, and I think Marcus Rojo, Chris Smalling, they will be made, confirmed. Now we had a really weird story earlier on today. Now let me bring this up, just so I don't piss myself laughing when I start remembering it. By the way, Fabrizio Romano, we'll do that one after actually. Let me just find. So here we go. Reports in Chile have linked Alexis Sanchez with a move to Manchester City. Yeah, I can't believe what I'm reading either. Laurie Whitwell has reported that Alexis Sanchez has no future at United, which I think everybody's safe to say. And then Chilean newspaper La Cuarta goes on to say Man City returned to make contact with the player's environment to know his conditions in the midst of negotiations with Inter Milan. The paper notes that while City couldn't reach a financial agreement with Arsenal prior to the 17-18 season, they have a budget of $190 million for the transfer market this summer. La Quarta hinted that City may have a better chance of attaining Alexis as compared to Inter because they are better placed to meet United's asking price of $22 million. The paper adds that United would sell to the highest bidder since they are pressed by the need to make money and buy Jadon Sancho. Bizarre. And the reasons it's coming out from Chile are obviously because he's Chilean, but that is one of the most bizarre transfer stories I've seen. And I know he showed a little bit of a return to form and he played well in a game against Torino and all that, but to go to Man City, they've sold Sane, yes. I can't see it. I know Gabriel Jesus hasn't been playing, he's probably not ideal for what they want to do there, and I can see them replacing him, but not with Alexis Sanchez. I just can't see that happening. Hopefully that's just United saying to Inter Milan that you need to hurry up and make a deal, or his agency trying to get Inter Milan to offer more, but I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. Fabrizio Romano has reported that Pogba's contract talks will start soon. Mino Raiola is ready and waiting to begin those talks. So we'll have news on that hopefully soon, that he's signed a new deal. But we need that to happen. United level on points, 62. Goal difference plus 28. With Leicester City with a game in hand. At this moment in time, we've got a game in hand on Leicester, so if we win, we will go 3 points ahead of Leicester City, and we play them in the last game. We'd have 65 points. Now Chelsea play Liverpool in the next game, they're on 63, so if they were to draw that or lose that and we beat West Ham, we go third. Now if Chelsea lose and United win, let me see this. With the way the goal difference is set up, if Chelsea were to then lose against Wolves on the final day of the season, then Leicester and United could play out a draw to send them out. But I think Chelsea just need a point out of their next two games to pretty much confirm top 4. No. Actually, they might need more than that. I can't be bothered to think about it. All United need to do, though, is win their games. Win the game against West Ham. Make sure we don't lose against Leicester. And we're through into the Champions League. And I suppose that's a positive. And for as bad as it felt losing that game at Wembley, I think we have moved into the right direction. It's 1 defeat in 20. We don't need to panic. We've got these talks about Jadon Sancho pushing for a move. Paul Pogba, contract talks beginning soon. Bailly's out of hospital and it's just a scare. He may miss the game against West Ham with a concussion precaution, but it's not as bad as feared. And I think we can be generally confident in the direction we're going, as much as a sucker punch it was, losing that game against Chelsea. Now, what the hell has happened here? Yeah, I don't know what happened there. The Gremlins are taking over today, but nevertheless, guys, that has been the news for today. I don't know what happened. I genuinely don't know what happened there. I looked at my screen and it went mad. Hopefully it weren't for too long, but make sure you're keeping it like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Join, get involved with the members only stuff and all that. And for now, I'm gonna shoot. But yeah, stay positive, I guess. See you in a bit.